All right, so I've got 35 minutes, and I didn't bring any products with me. I really only want to show you our view, so Barracuda's view, on this principle of zero trust environments. So you will see, I will go with you through the idea of what is behind, and then also how one can address this entire principle. We are all aware that in those days, more and more, competitors, even armies, governments, and also cyber criminals, they would like to get access to our data. So historically, IT security, it is a little bit like a turtle. So we've got a shelter which protects our IT security, or protects the turtle against attacks from outside, and we've got small vital holes which connect to the outside and which are small enough to be defended. Now this kind of, let's say, reptile kind of IT security is facing a couple of challenges. So we are seeing more and more we are seeing an exponential growth of hacker attacks, and we also see more and more devices running in our IT environment, so in our own IT environment. And with the introduction of the iPhone or of the smartphones, more and more users, end users, our own employees, they start digging small holes from inside into the shelter of our IT security. So the question is, what do we do? So not like Immanuel Kant with his with his critique of pure reason. We do not have any philosophical approach, but we rather have a pragmatic approach, and obviously it goes into the direction of information technology. So if we look back, what was until 2 years ago, the drivers for IT security were primarily crime. It was also consolidation, could be data center consolidation, could be consolidation of subsidiaries, so physical consolidation, and then also the first approaches of cloud computing, which had and still has to be secure. However, what we also see right now is a massive change how applications are brought into the IT department. So it's not only the IT department which says, we are going to buy a new application, and you, your users, you are going to use it, but the users are coming to the IT department and saying, we need this application, we need that application. We do not only need to have it available here, but also when we are working offsite. So with a zero trust environment, it is not anymore about to draw the line between whom to trust and whom to mistrust, but it's rather to say, we don't trust anybody. We don't trust any of our employees. We don't even trust our refrigerator. So this is just the idea. So no trust to anybody. And now I will move forward with this part. So driver number one for zero trust environments, it is still crimes. The crimes have changed, has changed. They have evolved. You've seen it in a couple of the presentations before. So the quality of crimes have changed. However, people, criminal organizations, criminal individuals, cyber criminals, they are always after the data. So the data, they are the key. So why zero trust environments? If we look back to the 1990s, early 1990s, Internet was primarily used by universities to exchange data with different universities. It was used by the students to watch porn sites. And if we, as IT organizations, IT departments would not connect our computers with the Internet, everything is fine. Now then, this was in the 90s. In the 2000s, we started to figure out that with Internet, we cannot only save money, but as some companies, we can also earn money. So the Internet was becoming more and more common in more and more organizations. There were the years 2004 and 2005, maybe you remember, when there was nearly every other week, there was like a massive news that an a government was hacked here, there was a bank hacked there, and so on. And companies and organizations were more and more aware that something needs to be done. So the perimeter was built, and the idea was if we implement enough checks and controls, life is still good. Now we are in the 2010s. In 2014, life is really bad. So it became so complex. We as an IT department, we do not control anymore the users, and we do not control the applications which are run. So it's really bad. I don't want to use the word which is indicated here, but you can see it. Now, why zero trust environments? First, the bad guys are really after you. You remember all those spam attacks when millions of emails were sent out for the most strange reasons. Spam dropped by more than 50% in the last couple of years. But we have really targeted attacks. We have phishing. We have attacks where cyber criminals are looking for credit card information, either from us as individuals, or they collect hundreds of thousands or millions of credit card information. Then second, we also have the transformation of users. Back in 2000, 15 years ago, 12 years ago, a typical user, which we serve as an IT department, was stupid. Yeah, he couldn't do anything without us, without the IT department, couldn't install any application, could not even set up a printer by himself. And the user was aware of that. So that's why we call him loser. Now in the 2010s, users are still stupid, but they are not aware of that anymore, and they perceive themselves as system administrators because they can manage their own iPods. They manage their iPhones, and they think they know what they do. And that's also why users evolved to, somebody says, idiots. I give you an example. Probably you have similar examples. My mom became 74 back in July. She got from my wife and me a nice iPad, and she starts to use it. So she's really very happy. And then 2 weeks after she got the iPad, I called her and asked, hey, so how is it going? Is everything fine? And my mom has evolved into a system administrator. So she downloaded the first applications. She's connecting to the internet. She knows how to use Wi-Fi when she's with her sister. And this is good for her. But if we as an IT department, if we are responsible for the IT security, this involves a lot of potential problems. People not knowing what they do. So consequences in a nutshell, this perimeter, this one thing which is protecting our IT department, this is lost forever. So we need to build a defense line for the precious applications and the data. And then also, because our users, they are not trustworthy or they are not controllable, even if they have the best intentions, they might still do bad things. We also might need to put something around them in order to protect our own environment. Now also what we've seen with the applications in the last 25 years is a paradigm shift. So back in the 90s, mainframes and terminal servers were still very much widespread. Today, still many banks, many insurances, they run in their data centers mainframes. Then in the 90s, 2000, we were seeing a lot of client-server applications. SAP, it's one of those very typical examples for client-server architecture. Then with the client-server, we also had LAN and we also had internet access. But now in 2010, 2012, 2014, we see a massive change of applications. So it is not this one SAP which is run by us as a company, but there are literally hundreds of applications which are requested by the users and which somehow need to fit not only to our IT infrastructure, but also to our IT security concept. So that shift means that from an infrastructure-driven design, we go to a business-driven design. And therefore also for the IT department and for the administrators, it is crucial that they understand how the business works, that they understand what problems a finance department has got, what problems a department in a remote location has got. So that there's really that there is going to be a better connection and also communication between IT department and the business departments. Might it be sales, production, whatsoever. So then also, because of this, the logical structure and the physical structure become separated. Yeah, so we have a physical structure partly in our data center. We might have it in a cloud if we believe into that. And then there's a logical structure. So users who need to have access to certain applications anytime and basically also from anywhere. Now let's take a look how a zero trust environment could look like. Overall, so it's very abstract, and I hope you all like colors. It's going to be a couple of colorful slides. So we've got users, we've got data, and we've got applications, obviously, everywhere. Users, they need to exchange data, they need to access applications. Logisch. So users orange, applications and data blue. However, remember, users are bad. Intentionally or non-intentionally, but potentially every user is bad. So we need to be careful. What do we do? Let's assume we have a small, medium-sized insurance company, 3,000 employees. We've got a headquarter. We've got remote workers who are selling insurance contracts. We've got a couple of subsidiaries in the larger cities in the country. Eventually, we've got a data center, or maybe also we've got 2 data centers. And some of our applications, they are cloud-based. This particular insurance company has moved away from Microsoft Exchange to Google Gmail, for example. Now, we have users in the headquarters, we have users in the subsidiaries, and of course, the remote workers, they're also users. And we've got data and application in the cloud, in the data center. Some applications are in the headquarters, for example, the HR applications. And in some of the subsidiaries, we are running small applications. But remember, we've got everywhere users, and the users are potentially bad. That's the idea of the zero trust environment. So what do? We need to protect our infrastructure, which is so much more complex than it used to be 25 years ago. We need to protect it against our users. And still, it is imperative that users exchange data with the applications. Doesn't matter where they are. Yeah, so we build firewall and content filter around our users. We build web application firewalls around our data and application. And we build application delivery controls around our data and applications. So data and applications are secured. The users can access them. The users, they cannot make too much nonsense with their mobile devices, with all their good intentions. So this is basically then how a zero trust environment can look like. Now, if we take again our insurance company, 3,000 insurances, with data, applications, and users, this could look like this. And now each user still has got access to all the applications. And in a very abstract way, this is how a zero trust environment can look like. So the conclusions, the parameters disappear, but parameters reappear all over the place. Yeah, so there's no sense to overinvest into state-of-the-art parameters as we used to do 5 years ago, 7 years ago, if we cannot reduce the risk of our own employees that they open some backdoors, that they start installing Dropbox and move data from outside into inside or vice versa. So instead of having one parameter, this which we used to have and which was very good, we need to have more parameters. And this is wherever we run applications, either physically or cloud-based. So the parameter design devices handle dominantly internal traffic, and every firewall is an application delivery device, and every application delivery device is as well a firewall. So more general conclusions. Business defines and demands infrastructure. Most likely you also have seen this tendency that because it's so cool, because it's so easy, we need to run this or that application which is available on our smart devices. Then also blueprints are not available anymore, so it is not possible that you go to any vendor and say, I would like to buy a zero trust environment, but it is very, very specific. So it's really an architecture which needs to be adapted to the very infrastructure which you are running, which you are operating. And it's not even possible that our small, medium-sized insurance is learning from the other insurance which already has implemented the zero trust environment and says, okay, I will just copy what they are using. So moving forward, reserve 5% of your IT budget for social events. Remember, IT people, they need to travel, so they need to talk to the business people in order to understand the needs, in order to prepare the IT department of what is going to happen, what the needs are, what potential threats are. So the IT experts, they have to travel. And your challenge as running an IT infrastructure, an IT department, is to design your tailor-made zero trust environment. And our commitment as a vendor of security solutions is that we provide you with products that enable you to do exactly that in a secure, consolidated, and cloud-connected fashion. I'm already getting towards the end of my presentation. So you see, I didn't bring any products with me. Obviously, Barracuda is providing appliances. We've got appliances for security appliances and data protection appliances. And I would like to invite you, to get in touch with me either right now or later outside. Barracuda, we are represented here in Hungary by the distributor SafeSoft. So we are just outside with a stand. And then we could show you how our web application firewalls, our application delivery controllers could work in this environment. Now there's still one thing which I would like to say. This zero trust environment, I think the first company or the first analyst which was mentioning was Forrester Research. So if you're interested in this topic, check on Google. You will find some very interesting essays about zero trust environments with more in-depth information, also more practical information how one can adapt it. My presentation should give you like a hint. Yes, this exists. And then basically you as an IT organization within your company, you need to see, okay, my data is so crucial, so critical. I will think about this, think about really not trusting anybody anymore. And then it's all up to you. So thank you very much for your attention. Are there any questions right now?
Kérdése van-e valakinek? Megint csak kiabáljatok, hogyha látni, ezt semmit nem ér. Nem látok kezeket a magasban. I have one question, first one remark, that users are stupid, it's a secret. Don't speak outside of the room about that. Outside of the room, we have to say users are brave. Yes.
That's absolutely, the thing is, I'm a user, so I thought I can say so. But it is like that. I mean, you get so brave installing all the appliances, and then you want to use them, and then you see, there's Dropbox. I've got it here, and I just put the USB stick into the PC, and then I've got all the data available at home, and I do it vice versa on the next day, and then suddenly I infected the PC and without bad intention. And yeah.
And as I told you, I have a question. What is your opinion about the cloud? Because the cloud is, from the context of zero trust, because the cloud is somehow open, outside, out of our control.
It is, and it is, I mean, so there are a couple of things. So first of all, the cloud is going to come. It is already in the United States, very much there. So many companies there are using cloud services because it's more flexible and it's also cheaper. So, and also somehow the North Americans, at least, they are more, let's say, more open. Yeah? They say, okay, make the backup into the cloud. I don't care anymore. So it's going to work. In general, from a security point of view, I think it's always a problem. It's always a problem. In particular, if I mean, if I'm thinking of banks, or if I'm thinking of health insurances, if I'm thinking of governmental institutions, Ministry of Military, so they could not. In most countries, there are also laws which would prevent that data are leaving the country, that they are stored abroad. The thing is, it's like I have the impression it's like a big wave waiting at the east coast of the US and waiting until it reaches Europe. It starts to reach Europe, so I mean, you probably know that Microsoft is pushing with its Azure cloud services very much into the markets, and more customers start to trust into this. Now, that from a security point of view, it is, for example, with the cloud services of Microsoft or also Amazon, AWS, both companies, they don't provide the answer. So how do we connect securely from the cloud into our data center, wherever it is located? And I mean, from this point of view, now me talking as a vendor, we provide web application firewall and also our next generation firewall, which allows a secure connection between the cloud and the data center. So at this time, it's a mixture. So on the one side, one needs to be open and maybe also a bit naive just to believe into cloud services. On the other side, that this technology will evolve. Many security problems which are right now still there, they will be solved. But if me as a company, if I implement cloud services, I need to be very sure. So where are my data located? Which data am I actually uploading? Is this critical data? Is the server, is maybe the cloud services owned by a US-American company? You might have seen the news in a couple of weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, that a judge somewhere in the middle of the United States was ordering Microsoft to give data from this cloud service which is located in Europe. Yeah, so I mean, there are still many open things, but I'm 100% sure that it will come. So Europe is so, in nearly everything adapting to the United States, following so much, and in some countries it will come earlier, in other countries it will come later, but it will come. And then also one does not need to make, one can also provide private cloud services. If an IT organization is large enough, then then this organization can provide private cloud services only for the intranet users. Or I can also take a cloud service provided by Hungarian Telecom, for example. So it does not need to be a US-American cloud service. I mean, we as Barracuda, we also, we have our appliances as hardware appliances, software appliances, and we also run them as cloud services, but only in North America. So in the countries which I'm looking after, Central Eastern Europe, nobody buys that. Here it's still couple of years away, but it's going to come, if we like it or not.
It is here, I think. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.